All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you guys are tuning in, be sure to hit that thumbs up. And if you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. We do appreciate it. Now, today we're going to be talking about how we were able to make over $7,000 in the stock market here today. Guys, I would like to say that I do feel pretty good about where I am. I do feel pretty good about my progress, but there are still a lot of things that needs to be worked on. There's still a lot of things that needs to be done, but we're very grateful to have had such an incredible year. We still have one day left here officially, but I mean, it's been sensational, and we're very grateful for the community, for the team, all the other guys here, Tim, Marcelo, Triad, Xavier, Calamity, the list goes on, right? We have so many rising star students shining, the beams of the world, Lucas, Minty, Dynasty. You have so many people, BMAC. You have so many people who are doing extremely well. I just want to give a big, incredible shout out to the team, Andy, Jackson. I mean, the list goes on and on. But we'll talk about today's recap. We'll talk a little bit about what we traded, how we found the stocks we traded. We'll also talk a little bit about how you guys can get started with day trading if you're newer to the channel, you're newer to the community, and you're looking for a place to start. And I understand for some people, it might seem numb at this point, but for me, it's anything but numb. It's still sensational. It's still amazing to be able to make this amount of money in one day, in a few hours. I mean, my dreams have came true. My dreams have came true. I've always saw myself being able to make decent money from the market, and that's exactly what's happening now. So before we do jump into it, just quick reminder of our disclaimer. Remember our rules, our guidelines here. Remember, we're not a financial advisor, analyst, economist, nor an accountant. Remember that day trading is risky. Remember that my results are not typical. Remember that copy trading does not work here in this community and on this channel. And remember, I do not invest for my subscribers, so be careful of imposter and fake accounts. My voice has been recovering nicely, as you guys can hear. We've been working on it, taking all the medicine we can, all the good stuff, the natural stuff, I should say, right? Natural herbs from my grandparents, all sorts of ginger and turmeric and garlic and all sorts of craziness. They said RT, and they don't call me RT, but they're like, hey Tariq, you're on this live stream thing. Your voice is incredibly important. We have to help you get back to your best ASAP. So shout out to the family, shout out to the relatives for getting it done. Okay, Relentless, what did you trade? So I traded primarily VINC, NXU, and recently towards the close we added $1,200 on WATT. I want to show you guys two key trades from the archives, a resumption trade on stock INTZ that really put us red, and we're also going to look at some other setups from NXU. All right, so I think we can start with the loss. So in terms of the patterns that I'm trading here, right? Let's pull it up here. Man, my memory, goodness, what's the ticker? INTZ. In terms of pattern, so for context, INTZ was a super strong stock that we had today, right off of our Momo Pro scanner. If I have to come down and come to the gap scan here, you guys will see it even right now after pulling back a little bit. INTZ is still up 152%. 152% with 132 million shares of volume. Guys, Momo Pro is a scanning software that I use to find my watch list stocks every day. You guys can check out the links down below for that. Coupon code Relentless for 25% off for 6 months. All right. Context, pre-market, from 193 up to 530. Long consolidation, and then into the open, we had an incredible move going from 420 to a high of 528. We then pulled back to a low of 450 before then getting back over 5 and then giving this pretty massive consolidation, which ended up being a bit of a triple top. Now, the breakout ended up being sensational. I wasn't watching at this one out of the jump because I had some other stocks on the list I was also keeping an eye on. But the breakout was incredible. From 520 area, it pushed up to 589. Small baby pullback, and then ripped up to 634. Then, after that, we had an actual 1 minute pullback here, bigger red candle, from 650 to 550, a dollar share drop. And then this thing, ended up going to 734. So we actually got a halt up. Let's pull it up on the let's pull it up on E-Trade. INTZ. For those of you who are not familiar with halts, whenever a stock goes up too fast, too quickly, or down too fast, too quickly, it will be frozen by the exchange, just so that traders can have time to make sense of what's going on, right? And it's a mechanism to essentially, prevent a stock from going to infinity or going down to the negatives within minutes or seconds. All right, like to stop a panic. And it's good to know that the entire stock market can also be halted during times of high stress. For example, COVID, when we had the sell-off, the entire market was halted for a period of time, for everyone to, gather themselves. So again, it's depicted a little bit better with E-Trade. I'm going to pull up my live trading archive. So this is what my students will have access to. They'll have access to the live trading archives to see all the key trades that we'll take, regularly when it comes to the setups that we know and love. So let me pull this down. So this is around 9:41 a.m. Why did I say 7 a.m.? 9:41 a.m. Let's see. 9:40 a.m. So we got to come back a little more. INTZ, man, just a very interesting stock here. So it's halted up at 634. It's going to resume slightly lower. I take a very aggressive trade to buy the lower resumption. And let's look at this. So here it is, left-hand side of the screen. We're at 634. Opens up a little lower. I'm aggressive to jump in here, and I'm looking for the move over 30 and perhaps up to 50. Two things. I got filled a little higher, 28, and the sell was decent. It's still, I think, maybe a little early, but our objective was completed. I could have maybe tried for 60, 70, but I think good early sell here, locking in something quick. Now, because our fills weren't the best, we only walk away with 270. And then just that quickly, the stock is already back down by 520. I take it in the spreads here, and I'm going to look for us to hold above the whole dollar. Perhaps I could have been a little bit more patient to maybe see how it would react around the level. But again, in the moment, it's quick and fast, right? So I'm back in, and look at what happens to me here. This is what we call a flush out, the Titanic disaster. I'm in, and maybe 5 seconds later, we're at 550, and I'm like, well. This is the risk. This is the risk of being so aggressive. On the days where you guys see it work extremely well, this is the other side of the trade. And so, I was up $2,000 on VINC, gave back half on this move down, and now there's a resumption where I'm down $1,000, and just like that, from a great start of the day, up 2K in the first 10-15 minutes, I'm now flat on the day, and I was a little frustrated about this. But the biggest thing to always keep in mind, especially in these hotter markets, is that the opportunities are almost guaranteed to keep coming throughout the day. So if we can keep our head, clear, our mind free, and stay focused on the task at hand, we'll stand a great chance of getting ourselves back to where we need to be. So I took a massive loss here, and then I'm going to skip ahead because, we observed that loss. We ended up not making anything. So this low ended up being the bottom of the move where I sold, which is just tragic. because I should have been buying there in the first place. But my hindsight, my intuition did not help me well, I'll say my intuition did not help me in the moment. But the stock now, so it made a new high of 734 and it pulled back to 650. Right here is where I finally kind of gain a grip on my trading, got the emotions out of the way on this thing, and said, hey, objectively, what makes the most sense? And let's look to get involved right here. So we took that loss, and this trade that I took the loss on, I believe I bought 2K shares in one block. Yeah, which was a mistake. So, for me, it's all about taking it slow on the pullback, building a position now. It's a change I've been working on, and then looking to let the position ride. So, we did get a nice move. We did have some early selling, which I think we could have did a better job with. At the end of the day, 713 was the high of the last candle. I think at least waiting for like 80 right here before selling some could have been a little bit better, which we did get high 70s. So yeah, that ended up happening. We added back to it, smaller size, and let's see, how far did we go? We got back to 60. Well, we got back to 72 and then 60 here. You can see it's a bit of a lower consolidation compared to just the one red candle and backup that we had earlier. So, we made back that $700 loss towards the end there, but definitely a stock I would have loved to have been green on. And you guys see my trade style. It's very quick. I like to call it hyper scalping, atomic scalping, molecular scalping, anything that is zoomed in. Scalping in itself is already that kind of definition of being active, but we're hyperactive. Even if you want to call it hyperactive scalping, whatever scalping you want to call it, right? The key is that we're getting in and out numerous times, and we're looking to keep tight stops, and we're trading a fixed amount of patterns, right? Some of them are famous patterns that you guys will have heard of and know of from, either your own experience, other YouTube videos. Some people will call them different names. Everybody kind of have their own thing about how they do it. But for us, if you guys are to check out our website here, and this is going to be a very shameless plug, I'm going to take this time quickly to just talk a little bit about how you guys can get started if you are interested in learning how to trade. You guys can check out Merciless Markets, right? That's our day trading program here. And I say our because it's bigger than just myself at this point. We have other mentors, we have other students, or let's say we have students, and not only just students, but students who are successful. You guys can always feel free to check out the success stories that are on my YouTube channel, right? But here are the list of some of the patterns that we trade, or let's say all the patterns. There are also some edges, what we like to call edge. An edge is something that we've noticed in the market that we can essentially have a probable and profitable outcome over a period of time, right? Essentially an edge. So we have our patterns, chapter 14, if you guys are to look at it. The bull flag, the VWAP pullback, the ABCD, the 3-bar play, flat top, cup and handle, red to green. A lot of you guys will have heard these patterns before, but it's how we trade them is what's very different from everybody else. It's to this day, people are asking me on other platforms, how in the world do I take so many trades, as if they don't know about free commission platforms. So there's still a lot of people who are not exposed to what we're doing here at all. It's still pretty nichey, and there's only a few people, it would seem, despite how as big as our YouTube channels are, that really know what's going on with this thing, right? The half and whole dollar is a big thing in terms of the edge, in terms of an edge, right? Stocks will react in very specific ways around these levels, and throughout the combination of all these things is what's allowed us to be able to be profitable over time. So I do want to talk a little bit about NXU, because I literally was flat on this thing around 10:30 or 11:30, was it? Yeah, I was flat on NXU around, yeah, this is like 11:30, and from 11:30 to 12 we made 1K, and then from 12 to 12, let's see, from 12 to 12:30. So in that 30-minute stretch, we added a nice 5,000. And I really want you guys to see this loss right here. So in terms of my quick trade style, this is why it's imperative to have speed, fast platform, fast execution, good movements, because look at this right here. So stock NXU, is this the right area? Stock NXU gets halted up at 213 and the resumption is coming up. I want you guys to look at what happened here. Come on. Okay, here we go. Resumption coming up. So there's something very specific that I look for, and this is another one of what we call an edge. We've noticed over time that in these areas, there's usually a type of way that the stocks can move, and we capitalize off of it, right? So we open up at 10, the stock comes down here to 202, and notice that I've put out my order. And we can replay it one more time. I've put out my order, and what's going to happen is that nothing happens. I literally don't get a fill, and it's just a disaster. So we come down. In fact, you can see here that my order, and you guys know it takes like a half second for this thing to populate on screen. I'm in at 201. 201 by 202, and nothing happens here. The stock goes to 210. There's a 50K bid behind me at 07. 07 by 10. And, you know, some people might say, Relentless, if your order's not getting filled right away, why not cancel the trade? And that's a fair point. Perhaps I could have canceled this position and just not bothered about getting filled at all. But because it was going up in my favor, and what can sometimes happen on this platform is that you'll still get your correct fill, but it's a little delayed to show on screen. So at this point, I'm hoping I'll still get filled at 201, 202, maybe 203. But the stock ends up going up to like 18, 20, 25, and 28 into the halt up. So part of that is why I didn't cancel. And it's going to backfire because this thing comes right back down right here. I get filled 1,400 shares at where I should have been filled at 01. And more than likely, I didn't get filled on the way down because I would have gotten filled maybe at 6 or 7 here. And then so there's 6 by 8 and there's 3 by 4, and I'm finally getting filled. But by this time, I'm going to try to get out for flat, and it's already too late. And just like that, I'm caught into a halt down where I should have had a winning trade of at least a few cents, or at worst case, break even. And this is going to cost me my biggest loss of the day, and was enough to put my mental capital from okay to 0. Okay. Ooh, I still have a bit of a cold. So let's put my mental capital to 0, man, and I after this I was basically done. You know, I was that was it for me. And here's the resumption trade. Nothing else mattered. I'm like, hey, that's the day. Once I take this haircut, that's it. So it sold me out around 80s. Right here. 78, 80. Just frustrating, man. Frustrating because not only should we have had a winning trade, if I did not take that loss, I'm more than likely watching this stock in the next few minutes, in which it did do a red to green to 90, dipped, and then right back to 90 again. All of this I missed because I was just kind of out of it. And, you know, I did a bit of a review at the end, which also cost me on stock SMX. Right as that was happening, stock SMX was also giving this move. So if everything went according to plan, and I didn't get that lag, more than likely I would have just switched to the next stock, which was this one. And this thing went from 65 cents to 92 cents. Do you guys think I could have made money here? You see how these things play out? You know, on one hand, I got to look at myself first, which is, hey, maybe I can work on having more mental capital and trading for even longer. But then on the other hand, it's like the way how things played out, man. I just had it with the day at that point, and it is what it is, you know. So in terms of the power hour stuff, after at this point I had lunch, I took a break, I came back, WATT. Funny enough, one of my siblings were here inquiring about trading and asking about trading, talking about it, and it was lesson 101 right in this area here. Lesson 101, and we did well. 1200 bucks. I should have recorded it for the students as like a live in-person class. If I thought about it fast enough, I could have did that, but I didn't think about it. But anyhows, we made money. I should say I made money, and I was able to teach a sibling along the way. So hopefully, we can also continue to teach you guys here each and every day with our live trading, with our archives, with the classes, the chat room, the inspiration and encouragement. Guys, by the way, check out the chat room. If you're not in the Relentless Trading chat room, what in the world are you doing? If you're not in the Relentless Trading chat room, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because part of why I'm no longer just making 200 bucks a day and being content with it is because I can see what people around me are doing. I can see what other people around me are doing. And shout out to Dan, Zay, all these guys who are putting in the work. Cool, man. Process over profits here. I'll check in with you today. Guys like Tim, 18,000 on a day. You have, let's see, Jimmy. How did Jimmy do? A little bit of chop today for Jimmy. Mighty Putty, 2,300. Cactus, or I should say Robert, 1K. Save, one of the Team House members. And for those of you who are not in the chat room, what you guys haven't realized is that we've done virtual meetups where we all have our cameras turned on. We're doing these things to where we're getting to know people. We're in the voice channels where it's 20, 30 of us. We take turns talking to each other, asking different questions, narrating different things, talking about what we're looking at, what we're trading, how our days went. You got to build a community. You got to get around like-minded people. Jackson, Save, one of the Team House members, 47,000. Guys, I love to trade. I love to challenge myself. Someone who I know that I have his phone number. I can FaceTime him right now, show you guys him, let him say something to the camera. I could do that right now. This guy's up 47 grand, and it's so inspiring. Lets me know that even with this 7K that I made, it's been a nice day, and I'm grateful that there's things I can keep doing to keep pushing and be even better, right? Because at the end of the day, the key about trading is that I don't need to work overtime. I don't need to work twice as hard. I don't need to come here 10 times early. It's all mental. Can I continue to be a better version of myself? Can I put out more risk, more size behind the trades? I'm still going to be hitting the same buttons. Maybe I work on my buttons and get some better hotkeys, right? Things like that. So it's marginal. It's percentages at this point, and that makes the difference. Shout out to D Trades, 4,000 bucks. Beam, one of the students, we had an interview with this guy, 36,000. A student who's even doing better than a teacher on a day like this. Absolutely incredible. Jay, a little bit more of a tough day. Small red. Big Steve had a tough day. Big Steve, another big time member here. So we understand that trading is hard and trading is risky, but ultimately, you have Danny here. Max lost to Tiny Green, Gambit. I had a nice conversation with him. Nice, like 15-20 minute talk with him, like 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, like a month and a half ago. He's a pretty cool guy. Just shout out to the team, man. Shout out to the team. Shout out to the traders here. It's the community. We're beyond blessed to have such greatness around us. So check out the chat room. Check out the classes. Get involved. Get on board. Into this new year, we're keeping the same energy. We're keeping the same pace. We're going to look to be even bigger, better, and greater. In this channel, in this community, our only goal is progress. And can we continue to push forward and get a little bit better every day? All right, so hit that thumbs up, subscribe, utilize coupon code New Year for those of you who do end up checking out the classes. That way you can get a sweet discount. All right, coupon code New Year, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay green. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Just remember that I do it live. Do it live tomorrow. I'm gonna do it live again. All right. So I'll catch you guys. See you at 8:50 a.m. market time. Stay safe, stay green.